Welcome to the Beyond Woman Conversations podcast, the place that inspires beautiful change. Join us, your host, Jacqueline Walker Johnson and Misha the Van Clark. Welcome to another conversation where we discuss topics that we believe will enhance the lives of the women we serve. I am your host, Jacqueline, and with me is my co-host, Misha. And of course, we have a wonderful guest joining us today. Her name is Mac Warner, and we cannot wait to hear her take on the discussion. So welcome, ladies. It's always a pleasure to be in good company.
Thank you, Jackie. It's always just a joy to be here with you, to share with you, and to engage with our listeners.
Thank
Hi,
you, Jack.
Mac.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So today we're talking about vision boarding, seeing that it is almost the end of another year. And I know there are some women who are rejoicing as they have pretty much accomplished what they had set out to do at the start of the year. And then we have those other women who are probably not so happy with themselves. But as usual, we encourage you to not knock yourself because life is ever changing, it is dynamic, and we all have the opportunity to change. So let's start off with a quote that I believe in. And it says, "A vision is not just a picture of what could be. It is an appeal to our better selves, a call to become something more." And that is from Rosabeth Moss Cantor. And Misha, I want you to start us off because I know for sure that you are passionate about this matter of vision boarding.
I am, Jackie. I am.
Yeah, and it has worked for you. So
Yes.
I would want you at this point to just share with us, what it is that you did in terms of your vision board, how you were able to accomplish the goals, and so on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jackie, and welcome, Mac. I just wanted to start out by just asking, really, what is a vision board? And it is simply defined as a board of any sort, that you use to build a collage of words and pictures. But the significance of those words and pictures is that they really represent your goals and visions that you're setting for a particular period. And you can use a vision board, whether it is that you want to focus on one goal or several goals. And the vision board is sometimes the referred to as a dream board, but it's really just a visualization tool. And Jackie, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Yes, 1,000 words. So what it is that by putting the visual images that represents your goals, or what it is, the targets that you're setting out for the year, then let's say a year, and then placing it somewhere that you can frequently look at it, and it then keeps those goals, it is said, at the top of your mind and keep you motivated to be intentional about making your vision an actuality, right? Or actualizing your vision. So let me just share from my own personal experience. In 2018, every year I've always decided that I would do one, and just never had the discipline to do that. And in 2018, I decided that I was going to be intentional. And I sat and I wrote out what it was that I wanted to see happen for 2018 and 2019 for me. It was really, to me, a defining year. And I think that's what really motivated me to do it, to really sit down and actually get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore I did everything that the process is involved. It's simple steps, but you capture the kind of images that inspire you and really accurately, not accurately, but really motivate you when you look at what it is that you say that you want to see accomplished in your life. And so I was motivated to put the plans on paper and to take the necessary steps after that, that vision board. I kept it in my office where I would have to go in every morning, my home office, and I would see it.
Is
And
that what they call like embedding it into your subconscious?
exactly, Jackie, because you're seeing it every day. And those images, because the picture is worth 1,000 words, that's what really stirred me, along with the words that I put there. It was as if I was doing daily affirmation, whether even without doing it aloud, but by just looking at it, by reminding myself, by focusing on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so October 2018, I did just that. It among the goals I'd set were three key ones. Greater focus on God and enhancing my prayer life, launching my book club, which I have a passion for, and new beginnings in terms of my career and business. And Jackie, by October 2019, I really did take a leap of faith to leave my corporate job after 10 years and embark on a new journey that would have provided me with new opportunities, both personally and professionally. And not only that, in that year, or but I think it was up in about March 2019, not only did I start my own business in October 28, but by 2019, at the beginning of 2019, I celebrated another achievement. So I was able to tick the checkbox that I also started writing my blog. And that was a blog that I always wanted to do, and to encourage people to live every day consciously and intentionally. And then I also launched Islanders Book Club, and that is a network of Caribbean professionals living in Barbados who really share a love for books. And the book club is really a forum of knowledge sharing and personal and professional development. And that's how I had the joy of meeting Mac, because she came to that book club meeting when we launched in
Well,
March.
let me ask you this though. I mean, all of this that you mentioned that you were able to accomplish, it was done on the vision board. That's what you're saying from
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
onset.
From the onset, Jackie, I
So
had.
were they others that you had on the vision board that you weren't able to manifest?
Yes. And you start the program on the right note, so that people know that we are always evolving, and whatever it is that we don't get to accomplish, we always have an opportunity to start again and
Mm-hmm.
to continue that process. There are others on there that I still am working hard on, and I haven't gotten them, but I'm just saying I was able to check. And the others will go back on my vision board for 2020, as maybe my part two, really. But the truth is, Jackie, it is said that vision without action is really just a dream, but vision with action can change the world. It really is what makes things happen, and you get things done by not just setting it on a board. But I think when you do use a vision board and you have that before you
In your
on a regular
periphery, yeah.
basis, it causes you to move from the brain, but actually motivating you to take the action that is necessary to start making the things happen. And I say for that, I use the word just being intentional. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. So that, in a nutshell, is what happened with me in terms of that process. And I'll say, Jackie, that I'm a believer of it, because um I just to reiterate that once you place your goals on a board, it doesn't matter what you want to call it. If you call it your vision board, your your dream board, your value board, whatever it is that you're working towards to change, whether it's something that you want to attain personally, professionally, or in your own self-development. It is just about the fact that you have set a goal and you have placed it on the top of your mind, and it keeps you motivated to intentionally reach for that. And that's it for me.
Yeah.
That's what I would just say in a nutshell.
I always thought that there was something, I don't know if I want to call it magical, because maybe there's some science behind it. I just didn't delve very deep into the whole matter, to find out if there's something scientific. But I guess it has to do with our subconscious and the fact that, once things are embedded there, then somehow we tend to move towards it. But you know what? My stance is that I'm not for it and I'm not against vision boarding because it has worked in my life. I've hosted my own vision board session with mentees, and, we went through the whole process of preparation, the whole visualization, and then actually doing the board. And I know that some of the ladies who were in attendance have realized some of their goals and their dreams. And then there are those who have not. And so I'm thinking, with wisdom, I've thought to myself that it really perhaps does not work for some people, and we need to figure out why. So I'm also saying that life is not a level playing field, right? So it's not going to work for everybody. And in the last 2 years, on this time, I tend to have a focus, on my social media or on my blog about just living intentionally, because you mentioned it already, and just encouraging all of us to make pointed decisions, whether it be career, personal, spiritual, emotional. Because as I said before, for me right now, I'm in a space where it's all about just highlighting some decisions that I have to make.
Yes.
That will change my life, and then committing to those decisions. I find that works better for me. And of course, I incorporate the whole process of visualization because I believe that is very important. For example, if you want to say goodbye to emotional baggage in whatever shape or form, and begin to see yourself then you have to begin to see yourself being happier.
Correct.
And even if you want to look at it from a career point of view, you must be able to see yourself sitting in that particular chair and interacting with those clients that will enhance, whatever position that you want to occupy at that point. It has to be real. So I believe very much in visualization. I said initially that I've begun to make decisions, but what I do is that I don't overwhelm myself. I just make a few decisions that I know, as I said before, will be life changing, and because I believe in baby steps. Some of us can't deal with, certain things that are too much of anything. So we have to take baby steps. And pretty much that's where I'm at. I'm just into making a few decisions and committing to those decisions. And once again, I'm not knocking the process, but it is simply me finding my rhythm. And that's what I'm saying to persons out there who might have a challenge, so to speak, with starting this whole vision boarding, and then at the end of the year, nothing has been accomplished. So at this point, we want to bring in Mac for her to share her perspective on vision board. And I understand that she has something different to offer to the table. And Misha, you want to just go ahead and introduce Mac?
Yes, well, it's my pleasure to introduce Mac, and Mac is a social entrepreneur from Connecticut, but she's currently living in Barbados, and she has studied public relations and business administration. And of course, she spends her time, she enjoys the beach and blogging from her personal experiences. And if you really, at this time, I just want to give a plug for Mac's blog, because she has a blog on Instagram, and the in fact, it was there that I saw a very interesting article from her as to why she hates vision board, but it is really a very interesting take on it, and I think our listeners would very much like to hear from Mac in terms of her perspective on why not a vision board, why what she defines as a value board is more effective. So Mac, welcome, and I just like to open the floor to hear you share with us your perspective on why not a vision board, But what do you what is it that you, the kind of value you see in a value board versus a vision board?
Great question, Misha. Jackie, thank you so much for having me. Misha, thank you as well. So you ladies both hit on great points, and it's really happy to see that, Jackie doesn't weigh strongly either way. She's okay for
Right.
it. She's okay not to have it. I think that's great. And thank you, Misha, for sharing, what a vision board has done in your life. So let me start off by saying that I lean towards having a vision board. If you had to choose between having one or not, I would say, yeah, lean towards a vision board. And I've had vision boards in the past, and I think I started doing vision boards about 4 years ago. And last year in 2018, my girlfriends and I took a trip to Thailand. We took a girls' trip at the beginning of the year in January. And at that point, I had already created a vision board for 2018. And one of my girlfriends asked us on the trip, hey guys, I just discovered, my top 3 values. Do you all know what your values are? Most of us didn't know, but she shared with us a core values worksheet. And in this worksheet, I discovered what my 3 values were. So in 2019, when I was taking down my 2018 vision board, I looked at some of the things on the list and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I've hit most of these, but I didn't really feel any different.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when it dawned on me that my vision board had just become a huge task list. It had just become a checklist of things that I wanted to do throughout the year that I had done. My personality type is such that I'm really quite disciplined. So, once it's on there, I'm going to do what I can to get it checked off the list. And then as I sat down and thought, okay, well, I've gotten most of these things done. It's neither here nor there for me. I started to think about what was important for me and how I wanted to make 2019 different. And I remembered this values worksheet that my friend had us complete. And as I looked back in my journal, I looked at my top 3 values and I said, you know what? I think this year I just want to be intentional about who I want to be instead of what I want to do. And so that became the place where I sort of birthed this idea of a values board. And I was also on the edge of finishing up or just starting, I can't remember, but I was reading at the very least Michelle Obama's book, Becoming.
Yeah.
And if I think, Misha, you've read that book. Jackie, I don't know
We
if
have, yeah.
I've started, yes.
You've started. Okay, so there's a part in the book where Michelle is 32 years old and she's still sort of discovering who she wants to become at that point in her life. And I think something about reading, the First Lady of America at 32, not knowing what she wanted to do with her life, gave me this like relief. I was like, oh, if I be 32 and not know and become First Lady of America, then I'm good.
You're good.
There's hope, right?
Yes.
I don't have to have this figured out. And so I'll share with you ladies, my top 3 values after I took the core values worksheet turned out to be honesty, and in this order, honesty, relationships, and personal development. And so I decided that I would create a board that would sort of encourage me to develop these 3 places in the woman that I wanted to be, the Beyond Woman, the woman I wanted to become. And so that is really essentially how this idea of a values board came about. And I'll share, like, there was a year when I created a vision board. Actually, I think it was last year. I created a vision board where I wanted to read 50 books for the year. And I read 50 books. And, it's great to, read 50 books. But at the end of the year, it was just like, okay, I enjoy reading, but it had become like this. I need to rush through this book because, I'm trying to hit my...
you have a target. Yes.
I have a target. And it wasn't fun for me anymore because I genuinely just enjoy reading. And it wasn't fun for me. And so it became this task. I had this fitness goal of, I want to squat 225 pounds. And when I did hit the goal, I didn't get this exhilarating feeling that I thought I would when I'd be able to say, oh yeah, great, I squat 225 pounds. For what? Like, for what? I'm not a bodybuilder. I mean, what exactly is the benefit of being able to lift that much weight? And so I just started to re-examine what I was doing versus who I wanted to be and how the two weren't always lining up.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome perspective, though.
It is.
You're coming
It really
from,
is.
you're driven by what is important to you at a particular time, as opposed to just, achieving, I don't want to
A
say basic, but
or a goal. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that perspective.
I really do, in fact, just listening to Mac, I'm kind of like inspired and motivated to do something like that, Mac, because I think what it does, it makes you, maybe a vision board makes you more outward looking in terms of some set targets, whereas the value board allows you to be more introspective and look at who it is that you want to become. And the truth is, we can achieve as many goals, Jackie, but it is
At the
something
end
that
of
I
the
know
day,
you
if it doesn't
focus
matter,
on as, it's one of the things that you really push in terms of the Beyond Woman is, what kind of person are we becoming as women, and what kind of difference are we want to make? And we can
it
only
has to be
make
meaningful.
difference.
Yes.
Yeah, we can only make powerful, impactful, and meaningful difference in our world, in the lives of our family, in the lives of the environment, when we are very clear about who we are.
Right.
When we do our own, put our own values, and we can actually declare, because that's how we know what it is that we'll stand for.
Right.
And and what it is that we are championing as women, when we know what our values are. So, Mark, I mean, really, thank you so much for sharing with us. It really has given me, Jackie, and I'm sure our listeners, something very thought provoking. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I
Yeah,
just wanted
that.
to add,
Go ahead, Mac.
yeah, I just wanted to add, Jackie said something earlier about, having this workshop with her mentees of vision boards, and sometimes it came true, if I could say
Mm-hmm.
that. Sometimes it happened for the women, and other times it didn't.
Right.
And you start to ask yourself, well, did I not wish hard enough? Did I not believe
Yeah,
hard enough? I didn't have enough faith, or
Right.
why did this work out for me? When really it could just be that what you put on at the beginning of the year, you've evolved. So much has happened to you, and by the end of the year,
Correct.
it's no longer a priority for you, right?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that 2 cents in. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always think that life is very dynamic, and that's what I love about it, so that we can change at any point in time when we recognize that something is not working for us. And as you rightly say, when we do this goal setting, and let me just be clear, I'm not knocking it, but at the end of the day, when we do not accomplish those goals, whether they are meaningful to us or not, we feel bad. We begin to feel like we have failed. I so appreciate what you have shared with us, because it's more driven, as you call it, your value board. It's more driven by who we are, as opposed to what we do. So we really appreciate Mark for sharing our insight, and
Yeah.
I know that somebody is having a aha moment,
Yes,
you know.
I did, Jackie.
Yeah. And they're probably looking at what it is that they're doing and thinking that I'm going to change something for next year. So before we want to wrap up quickly, but we want to talk still a little bit about our steps to creating a vision board. And I'll start with the fact that we need to identify the areas in our life that we would like to create what I call a wow, or goals to achieve, such as relationship,
Yeah.
love, finance. It could be an emotional goal, a spiritual
Yes.
goal. Just know for sure what it is that you would like to achieve, and be very
Yes.
clear about it. We also
Correct.
need to keep in mind that vision boarding is sometimes about the very futuristic, so it might not happen in a year, it might not happen in a month, it may take years. And as Misha had said, we need to identify a spot in our home or wherever at work, just somewhere where we can keep it in our periphery at all times, because we can't talk about vision board and we don't talk about Habakkuk 2 and 2. you know where the Lord said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets. So he may
Correct.
run who reads it. You know, it needs to be visible.
Yes.
Misha also alluded to the fact, again, that we must use words, pictures. You know, it could be your own creative drawings to represent the goals you'd like to achieve and make it visually appealing, you know, easy to see yourself represented in each area that you want to achieve. And just put it in your periphery once again and let it become a part of your subconscious, because that is how the magic happens. So Mackie, you want to quickly share with us how you go about constructing your value board? I think you probably alluded to it, but just, you know, to zero in a little bit.
Sure. So the first step is to know what your values are. So you can just Google values core worksheet, and there will be plenty of quizzes that can come up to help you discover what your values are. And my values board looks very much like a vision board, but what I've done differently is that instead of cutting out pictures of a magazine, I've actually just cut out real pictures of me and people in my life, and, you know, real things instead of, so for example, when I started my fitness journey, I posted a picture of a woman who was squatting the 225 pounds, but now I just have a picture of me, of where I'm at in my life, and it just says, you know, get in the best shape of your life, Mac. So instead of, you know, having these pictures of someone else, because it's about who I want to be, I just have a real snapshot of where I am and a little, you know, note by it saying how I'd like to be. Because essentially, I want to stay in shape always for the rest of my life, if that means eating right or exercising. So it's the same concept. It has pictures. I have it up on my wall in my bedroom, and I have little captions, if you will, next to the image. So, yep.
Okay, awesome.
So, Jackie, I'd just like to wrap up, because we're out of time, with saying whether it is that you choose to do a vision board or a value board, what we encourage you to do at Beyond Woman is just to be intentional. It's about making the decisions, whether it's small decisions, large decisions, but making those decisions and doing what it is that is necessary to make those things happen. And as Buddha said, we are what we think. All that we are arises within our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make things happen. And that is what it is in a nutshell we've been speaking about today. We visualize what it is in our thoughts. We want to become the person we want to become, or the dreams that we want to attain. And then once we have that in our thoughts, we then we seek to be intentional and allow that creative power in our subconscious mind to take us where we desire to go. That's it from me.
Awesome. Thank you for those final encouragements, Misha. And thank you so much, Mark, for joining us. It has been enlightening as usual. You know, we're so much better together. And as women, I'll just say that we just need to find our rhythm, you know, what works for us as individuals. And we need to get into that space that allows us to be fully ourselves. As Misha said, it may be vision boarding, or it may be creating your values board, but whatever it is, just make a decision and commit to it, so that at the end of the year, you know, or even midway, there is something to celebrate. And, you know, my mantra is to just live with intention, and that's just my rhythm. So remember to not be so hard on yourselves. You know, you are the author of your life. If you do not like how it goes, then you can write it differently. So thank you so much for joining us on this conversation, and do not forget to subscribe. Join us in another 2 weeks, where we'll be discussing ways to cope during the holiday season, and that's something that, you know, we want to look forward to. So until next time, thank you again, ladies. It was wonderful sharing with both of you.
Always a pleasure to share with you, Jackie, and thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.